Hello and welcome, Rangers. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and...
It's been so long you can't even do the intro right.
Yeah, ay.
Yes,
Hello
indeed.
and greetings.
Well, Rangers, we're back with more shot-for-shot analysis. I really do like this series.
Oh, yeah.
And we really do need to finish it. It's probably just going to take a few years. But...
Maybe a couple decades.
or 6,000 years!
Yeah.
But, anyways, enough attacks against this channel. The scene continues with the shift going from the possibly dead, possibly comatose construction worker who really should wash his hands before he touches a egg containing the very essence of evil, to the Rangers. And naturally, they're still doing their stunts. And of course, Rocky. Hey guys, let's get something to eat. How is it this guy is always eating or always needing food? Like, this guy is a bottomless pit. People talk about Goku being a bottomless pit. They've never seen Power Rangers. Rocky's on a whole other level. But what's so interesting is that he's always hungry, kind of like Shaggy and Scooby. This is a trait that they generally kept pretty consistent throughout season 2, 3, and Zeo. And it actually lent towards establishing Rocky a little as a bit of a more confident, badass Shaggy without the cowardice. So, like, you get someone who, you know, he's always eating. But what's interesting is, when you actually think about it, it makes a lot of sense because he is really freaking buff. Of the Rangers, or at least of the Ranger actors, you look at him and he looks to be about the second or third buffest. He's right behind GDF at this time. Well, GDF was always a very buff guy. But you look at... maybe David Yost was right next to Rocky's actor, and Steve Cardenas. And the thing is, looking at Cardenas, over the years he usually kept in really good shape. He's occasionally let himself go, but for the most part he's tried to stay in shape. I can't account for him recently because it's been a while. I believe in the most recent reunion episode he wasn't in the best shape. But given how often him and Karen Ashley go out of shape then get back into shape, it's like, oh, it's Tuesday, they're out of shape. Next Tuesday, oh, hot damn, they're buffer than Captain America and Superman figures. But I actually find that a remarkable achievement on their part. But what's more is that, of course, the Rangers actually seriously consider Rocky's statement because they've not eaten since likely that morning. So the tank's probably running on empty.
Especially during the entire rollerblading.
Yeah, they've been rollerblading for hours, you can tell. And, oh, one quick note about Rocky as well. He's also apparently the chef in the group, because I know there's references to him cooking quite a bit in the series. And it's really interesting that the one who loves food the most, and flavors, I guess, is also the most interested in cooking and the development of food. Which, when you think about it, makes a lot of sense. As, at least in our culture, French culture that is, cooking is almost like a sport. Like, I almost don't know a single French guy who doesn't love cooking, to be quite honest. And I don't know, weirdly enough, a lot of Japanese guys who don't like cooking. I've also met quite a few people from here and there, mostly from parts of Europe, who enjoy cooking as well. Whereas, what's interesting to me is that in places like the US and China, cooking is regarded with disdain and dislike. It's like, do I have to? Or it's relegated to, in some places, the woman's job, such as Finland. And, well, we have Finnish relatives, so we would know that Finnish men hate cooking, just by nature. in temperament. But the Irish, the Italians, the French, the Japanese, we love cooking. We love food.
And something else that I've noticed over watching Power Rangers is that Rocky loves social eating.
Yeah, it's always social with him.
It-
But he's probably the most sanguine of this group. Him and Kimberly. Kimberly is very sanguine, but, well, Kimberly, she started off very shy. She did. She was almost a wallflower who was mired in insecurities and resentment against everyone around her. While at the same time, Rocky was always social and sanguine. Yet with Kimberly, what's so interesting is that it was a fellow wallflower who kind of drew her out of it, out of her shell, Tommy. And arguably to an extent, Billy. And of course, there was Zach. But Zach was the most social up until I think he burnt out and he just stopped being social with other Rangers around the beginning of season 2, which, when you consider the massive burnout he felt after, things went rocky for a time, haha, pun intended, with Angela, you can't fully blame him. So, with this team, though, Rocky is much more energetic than even Zach, which is saying something because Zach had a lot of energy. But Rocky, he's a textbook case for ADD or ADHD. Okay. But he's definitely the most boyish in this team. And you have, of course, Kimberly, who's the most girlish. So that the two are almost at polar opposites, and yet they get along really well. And both, I've noticed, from their very first appearances, are weirdly drawn to Billy. Kimberly seems like she's really looking to Billy to kind of teach her basically some brains that she's never had before. And Billy does tutor her and mentor her in a way. Now, she in turn draws Billy out of his shell, but what's so interesting is that it's not in a sexual manner. It's in a purely platonic manner. Whereas with Rocky and Billy, it's really interesting because Billy at first doesn't want anything to do with Rocky and doesn't even like him. Whereas Rocky is clearly someone who's very curious about Billy and wanting to be friends and chums with him. So there's the character dynamics in this team is probably the most interesting that'll ever be in the entire franchise. But of course we get... And just as the Rangers are going, all right, let's go have fun. Let's go on a date. Or let's go do this. Or let's go conquer the world. Ah, crap. Dad's calling. Dad wants to know where they're at on a Friday evening.
It's time for the janitor's work.
Yeah. But enough about Alpha. So, hey, he is basically the janitor custodian of the command center.
Yeah.
And he probably gets paid just as well as one. Because custodians get paid really well. Come on, like, the lowest salary I've ever seen on them is like $21 to $22 an hour. Typically, it runs at, apparently after a few years, $29 to $32 in some places. It's like, wow. You guys are making bigger bank in some cases than teachers. But I guess the school wouldn't be, still running if you didn't have your custodian.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Tommy, of course, is the one who says, okay, hang on. And looks around for a place for them to hunker down and talk to Zordon. Because anytime their communicators go off, it's urgent. Because the interesting thing about Zordon is that he doesn't contact them when it's not important. And he does know, oh, it's a couple of schmucks or mooks robbing a bank. Yeah, maybe that's a job for the cops. Oh, it's a monster about to eat and devour and destroy everyone in the vicinity of the bank. Well, okay, that might be a few worlds above in importance. And it's about to also destroy the planet while we're at it. Okay, yeah. I guess this is a job for the Power Rangers. So yeah. Now that being said, they go off near where the bushes are, amongst some trees, and proceed to have a chat with, the person on the other end of the communicator, which turns out to be Alpha. It's Alpha who picks up the call and who actually did dial into the Rangers communicators and, tell them, Zordon needs you at the command center. It's urgent. And those who looked at the thumbnail will notice that we have Tommy kind of in the middle. Because there's 6 of them, you can't really get in the middle. And I say that because, you got him and Aisha kind of in between the 2 different sides. Now, the thing is, you have Adam at one end, then Kimberly. Now, what's interesting there is we've got Adam with the all-male color, because the Black Rangers are always male. It's the Power Ranger color of masculinity. You then get the Divine Feminine, or the female power, which is to say the Pink Ranger powers. Then you get Tommy with the Divine powers. So we get male, female, divine there. So that's actually an interesting order of things. Then you get Aisha, who has, the maternal powers. You have Rocky with passion. And then you have Billy with wisdom. So we've got male, female, divine, mommyhood, passion, and then wisdom. So, or if you go in the opposite direction, wisdom, passion, motherhood, divinity, female, male. Just thought I'd note that. And you have, what's really also interesting is the tower in the background, where this tower keeps appearing in the background of some scenes. And this is actually really good camera work and direction, because we keep seeing this tower and we're starting to associate it with Angel Grove. This tower, as everyone knows, is going to play a large role at the end of the film, because it's kind of Ivan Ooze's big stick at the end. The Ranger sticks were bigger and better. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button to stay tuned for the next one. And also check out our Crown of Blood book, which honestly has been a pretty good success, all things considered. And it's basically Shakespearean high drama with myths and legends of the likes Zordon, probably mentored or probably dreaded back in the day. Well, maybe not dreaded, but that would have had him fretting for poor humanity. But remember, Rangers, may the power protect you!